What if we tell you that what awaits Russia may be far worse than the catastrophe of the 1990s? If Putin does not alter course quickly, Russia may face an economic disaster similar to that of 1918. Yes, you heard that right. Russia appears to be on the cusp of an economic catastrophe unprecedented in the country's post-World War II history. The decision by the United States and the European Union to punish Russia's central bank effectively cut the country's economy's spinal cord. Russia is set to default on its debts, have its oil export relationships renegotiated to its prejudice, and see its currency collapse even further, and it is now feasible that the quality of living for the majority of its population will plummet to Iranian or even Venezuelan norms in the near future. President Vladimir Putin had consistently defended his strongman rule by warning that Russia would revert to the turmoil of the 1990s when Russians faced a significant reduction in living standards and a major contraction in the economy as a result of the Soviet Union's demise. However, his invasion of Ukraine has enabled a collapse worse than anything Russia experienced in the 1990s. While the new government's inability to properly collect taxes from the oligarchic elite contributed to Russia's 1998 default, the country's integration into global markets also had a crucial role in its emergence. Indeed, Russia's connection to global markets allowed the Asian financial and currency crises of 1997 to bleed into Russian markets. However, the West eventually assisted Russia in negotiating its way out of the crisis by providing further credit. This crisis demonstrated Russia's rapid integration into the global financial system. Long-term capital management (LTCM), one of the first Western big hedge funds, had to be bailed out by a bank consortium formed by the U.S. Federal Reserve as a result of its wagers on Russia. The Central Bank of Russia became the first national bank to fail on domestic debts rather than external debts, despite its ability to print rubles. Making Russians shoulder the burden was deemed preferable to making Russia a debtor pariah. In the current scenario, Putin is likely to respond by embracing gold, cryptocurrency, and sanctions breaking. He was eager to assist Caracas with such initiatives, but they were mostly ridiculous. Russia's options for facilitating such acts are also running out. Switzerland, whose neutrality-induced sanctions gaps have previously enabled other countries to facilitate similar commerce, has joined the EU's sanctions framework against Russia. Losses will be severe and unrecoverable for investors with direct exposure to Russia for the foreseeable future. Although the fact that nations such as Switzerland and Singapore have joined the latest moves demonstrates the widespread fury at Putin's unilateral war of aggression, there is still hope that some third parties can help Russia avoid a financial calamity. China is the only partner with the power to fully bail out Moscow. Still, all signs are that it regards Russia's actions as a threat rather than an opportunity to weaken US dollar hegemony. Did you know that India is apparently working on a rupee workaround for sanctions after refusing to denounce Russia's incursion at the United Nations General Assembly? It has already assisted Russian sanctions evasion through the purchase of Essar oil, now renamed Nayara, but any such action in the current environment would be riskier. Secondary sanctions may be threatened by Washington. Even if India's president, Sri Narendra Modi, implements a comprehensive sanctions-breaking system, it will not be a sufficient solution to salvage the Russian economy. China is set to make new records by agreeing to buy Russian gas at even lower costs than previously, but meaningful aid is likely to be limited. Such assistance would inevitably subordinate Russia to Beijing, hardly the new multipolar system Putin believed the conflict would usher in. Putin was well aware of the risk he was taking by launching an all-out war in Ukraine. President Joe Biden has signaled from the start of his presidency that limiting Russia's access to global financial markets and its economy would be central to the U.S.'s deterrence policy. Putin may still have hoped to divide the U.S. and Europe on their sanctions agenda, and he probably did not anticipate Brussels and Berlin to be so prepared to go for the jugular. However, when Putin demonstrated callous contempt for Ukraine's civilian population and began shelling its major towns, such a punishment response was justified. Vladimir Putin is solely responsible for wrecking the Russian people's economic livelihood. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. And that brings us to the end of this video. Don't forget to like and share, and if such content interests you, do subscribe to this channel. Press the bell icon to never miss an update from us.